Hello. So this video, I'm gonna be doing a little demo and mini first impression / review on the new Pat McGrath Labs mini eyeshadow palette in Midnight Voyage. And this is just so stinking cute. Okay, let's get into some product details first, because I think there was a little bit of apprehension over how small this product was rumored to be or touted to be. It's a total of 3 grams, which is quite small. As you can see, fits in the palm of my hands. It's really thin and compact. For reference, here is one of her blushes, and it is like significantly smaller than the packaging of that. Inside you get 6 shades, so they're all fairly small, I suppose, but let's just compare to some other products. So this retails for $29 for the 3 grams of products in 6 shades. The Natasha Denona mini retro eyeshadow palette with 5 pans, that retails for $25 and is a total of about 4 grams, where you get 5 shades, you get a little bit more product, but overall I think they're somewhat comparable. And another mini item that I think might be worth mentioning is the Viseart Mini Petite Pros. Now those have 8 shades and they have about 8 grams of product, which is definitely more substantial, but the pans are even smaller than what you see here because these are little rectangles. While this does end up being the most expensive for the least amount of product in amongst all of these like high-end mini eyeshadows, I am not too put off by the price to size ratio. Personally, I don't really use up eyeshadows, and this isn't so small and so thin that it's essentially sample size. This will still, like, I don't really expect to use these up. So I personally am not too worried. And talking about the size and I guess quality of the component, I actually thought I might not like this. Looking at it online, it really gave me like Anastasia vibes, maybe even ColourPop vibes. I just thought it seemed a little underwhelming and not that well designed. It's still kind of just okay, but it feels very secure and quality. It's perfect for traveling. It's so small and compact, and I just think it's like really cute with how small it is. So I've been more drawn to it than I initially expected to. It's plastic. I just think it's just so compact, and something about that speaks to me. Let's go ahead and get into how these applied on my eyes. I went ahead and filmed myself making this eye look today, where I did end up using all 6 shades here. I was gonna do a look that just kind of focused on the one new shade, Sunset Bronze, but really I find that shade so whelming, and it wasn't that hard to get all these 6 shades in. So here we go. I'm tapping into Entrapment with a fluffy brush and gonna set that down, kind of blend it all into my crease and outer corner of my eye as a little base layer situation. Then with a fluffier brush, I'm going into Extreme Aubergine very lightly, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of depth into my outer corner. Whatever is left over, I'll go ahead and bring down, but there's really not that much because I tried to pick up only the tiniest bit on my brush. With a flat eyeshadow brush, I'm going to go into Sunset Bronze and put that pretty much all over the center of my eyelid. And any leftovers, I'm going to blend onto the center of my bottom lash line. I'll use my finger to tap into Skin Show Divine Glow and put this on my inner corner, and then also bring it on like the inner quarter of my upper eyelid to meet where I put the Sunset Bronze shade. Lower lash line right here, on like the inner quarter, I'm going in with Eleganza. This shade I think is one of the prettiest shades. And going to pop that right here between where I put Sunset Bronze and Skin Show Divine Glow. And then any leftovers on this brush that I used for putting down entrapment, I'm gonna try and stick into the outer corner of my lower lash line and then lightly go back and kind of blend anything else around. And using my finger, I'm gonna use Night Creature. And this shade is a bit more crumbly, so I'm gonna try my best to be careful with it and kind of try to tap over where I put some of that extreme aubergine earlier and the edge of the Sunset Bronze. I think that Night Creature looks really pretty over extreme aubergine. This is one of the few shades that gives me a tiny bit of fallout. Before this, pretty much nothing while I was working with these shadows. And finally, I'm going to use a dampened liner brush and use extreme aubergine to line my eyes for this look. Which this last part, I'm going to do in my actual mirror. So getting into the shades of this palette, 5 of them actually already exist amongst other Mothership palettes, and the only new one is Sunset Bronze. So here I tried to swatch them in a similar order that she has on like one of her promo pics online. So I'll put that up so you can kind of compare reality versus expectation, right? So here is Skin Show Divine Glow. This is Extreme Aubergine. Here is Entrapment. This shade is Eleganza. And this shade is the one new shade, Sunset Bronze. And then finally we have Night Creature. I tried to apply a similar amount. And, you know, as you can see, they're all beautiful and vibrant. I will say that the 2 mattes are pretty consistent in being buttery and smooth. The Skin Show Divine Glow is a very thin, silky formula. But between the 3 other shimmers, they kind of have different feels, these 3 here. In terms of like thinness to heftiness, Sunset Bronze is still pretty thin, though a little bit thicker than Skin Show Divine Glow. And then Eleganza gets a little bit thicker, a little bit more heft and weight to it. And then Night Creature is just like straight up a little bit chunky, where you can see in the pan here it's got a little bit of texture just from me kind of rubbing it. It kind of doesn't really pick up in a smooth swatch, but it kind of crumbles away. Because of that kind of crumbly texture, it can be a little bit harder to work with. Pretty much none of the other shades gave me any fallout, but this one shade, Night Creature, definitely does. And that's one pet peeve that's growing of mine from Pat McGrath. I used to never really mind fallout that much because I found it could be tapped away easily enough, but with her glittery shades, they kind of just like really like to stick to the skin and it kind of becomes a pain. So those are the colors and formulations. I think they're a very beautiful combination. It's definitely underwhelming that they all exist already, but the colors here together are really, really pretty. If anything, my least favorite is this new shade, Sunset Bronze. I feel like it's really more of a copper than a bronze, and while it's pretty, it's nothing new that you probably don't already have in your collection / have seen before. I'm not huge on coppers all over my eyes personally. I find it to lean a little too warm. This is very thin formula. It's easy to work with, but even going on my eyes, I didn't feel like it had any special impact. It just felt like a quality, easy to blend out metallic, but those are, you know, a dime a dozen nowadays, honestly. But Pat McGrath does a lot of repeat shades, so if you're someone who tends to like to collect everything that she puts out, then this is really like not a product that caters towards her more loyal audience. It's definitely a product that is designed to draw in new consumers at a lower price point and like an introductory mini size, which I really like the concept of. I wish that more brands would put out like minis at lower price points for people to try things out. That being said, $30, not cheap by any means, but a lot more palatable than the $125 or $130 that her palettes usually go for. But in any case, I don't have any of these shades yet. I only have this one really clunky Mothership 6 palette, which I do enjoy, but I tend to not reach for that often because it's just such a unit to pull out and work with. So I like being able to try these out. I do find the formulations to be very consistent in quality. This eye look came together really easily. Despite using 6 shades, nothing is muddy. I just like threw it on and I think it looks pretty dramatic and colorful and nice. Between the colors here, you can get everything you need for a very basic eye look on most occasions and have enough to spice things up with different colors, different tones, and like a bit of a more colorful pop. So I actually like this a lot more than I expected to. For some reason I thought that this was going to be insultingly small and somehow miss the mark or feel cheap to work with, and no, it doesn't feel luxurious like her other products. Obviously, like, this is so opulent and over the top, but it's very functional, which is not really how I would usually describe Pat McGrath. So it's nice that she has this in her lineup now. It's just so compact. The shadow quality is A+, you know, very standard with what she usually offers and easy to work with. Really perfect for travel, perfect for someone who just wants to try out the shades. I'm not worried that this will be too small. While it's not luxurious to work with, I feel like this is very comparable to mini palettes that Natasha Denona or Viseart has put out. I am excited to see what other color stories she comes out with. This is for someone who kind of just wants to play with the shadows and maybe doesn't need this whole like bulky, opulent experience that comes with the Mothership. I think that you should have a pretty good sense of whether or not this product is for you. If you think this is laughably small and you already have the shades, then that's an easy pass. But if you're someone who's maybe never tried these shades from Pat McGrath or wants to be able to try more but like is just really off-put by the Motherships, I think this is a good option. And honestly, like, I know she has other 6-pan palettes that are about like yay large in the cardboard packaging and pretty normal size shadows. For me personally, I find this more palatable than those. I like how small and easily this kind of fits into my collection. The kind of bulkier items, I just don't really love when things take up a lot of space.